All right, call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Paul Cuny.
Present.
Not here.
Okay, good. We'll take whatever. Al Davis.
Here.
Charlie Keel.
Yes, ma'am.
Robert Laraway.
Okay, either way, the public.
Carol Shannon. Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm taking a roll call here, bud. Carol Shannon, I'm here. And Dave Ferguson.
Here. Hey, agenda's before us. Anything to add or take out? Okay, see that. Accept the agenda is unanimously approved. Consent agenda? Anything to be discussed? So I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda. Motion made by Laraway to accept the consent agenda,
I'll second.
seconded by CUNY. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. We're gonna go over some of the information from the Lake Committee later on in the meeting, right, Tim? That's on your,
Yeah, my
on your notes, okay. So we're proceeding to pace, as that phrase goes. So that's all I have. Mr. Manager.
Good evening. Few items to touch base on for everybody tonight. Had a developer come in this morning to get a permit for a home on Peninsula. It's the one that had a boat well, so that's got filled in. So he's dropping it back off tomorrow, but there'll be another new one. We approved a new home kind of right across the street from me at 1083 Bundy earlier in the month. That both of these are new builders in the community. One is Greystone Homes out of Midland, which is a high-end builder over there, and this one is a builder out of Canadian Lakes, is doing the one on Peninsula. So, yep, still seeing quite a bit of projects, activities. We've had a couple of garage. We had a couple more inquiries today about, can I build a home with metal siding, which actually you can in most of our districts, can't in a couple, but at least exclusively metal. It has to have a combination in the LR3 and 4. So yeah, I think by and large, we're still seeing, the bigger projects coming in. One of the things I did this month is a little bit different than the past on the permit report attached to my report is I kind of broke down, the big permits, homes, garages, additions, and then kind of the minor permits, decks, sheds, fences, and then driveways, utilities, those ones. So you can see kind of a breakdown of where we're seeing activity this year. Also, the 2 lots immediately north of the bank were recently sold. Louis Proton bought them. He's looking to build an office building there for his business. Have a couple of bays, but not move the landscaping business. Keep that up by waiting up at Bob Hooker's old place, but have an office here, so we can basically stay away from all that stuff up there because it's a mess. So he's got an appointment with me on Thursday, kind of a pre-development discussion. This is what you can do. This is the size, these limitations. But that's going to be a site plan the planning commission will have to review and approve. It's a permitted use outright, so there's no hearing or anything like that. It's just a site plan review for the development itself. We received our census challenge results back. I think out of spite, they shrunk us by 3 people. Took away 2 homes and 3 people. So the next step in the process is to request a quote from the Census Bureau to conduct a special census. And that's a complete re-enumeration of the community, homes, all that stuff. There's a form you fill out, you send it to them, they send it back, an estimate to you, and that would be what you guys would ultimately need to review and decide if that's something you want to pursue or not.
I have a question about that or comment. So as I read their quote here, it seems as if the government passed a law, the federal government passed a law to make sure that they could get away with whatever the numbers were during the COVID year. Is that correct? Reading between the lines there? Because it seems like they said, oh, by the way, we can't do anything about the inconsistent number, even though we admit there might have been inconsistencies there.
Yeah.
And we can't do anything about it because federal law prohibits us from revisiting that. So they built themselves an out.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
the part that I found to be the most lacking in reason was they couldn't add housing units. They said they could only enumerate the housing units that they enumerated in the census. Well, you know, you're just counting the same houses again. You're not actually doing the job of going out and, you know,
Well, the phrase,
canvassing and.
yeah, it says how, we may have not enumerated every housing unit within your legal jurisdiction. However, by federal law,
Yep.
we can't change that.
Yeah, we made
Like,
a mistake.
We didn't count them all. We knew we didn't count them all because we didn't have any Census Bureau takers out here. And so we just guesstimated.
Well, they had people that, you know, this is the second census I've been through as your manager. And night and day between 2010 and this one. My wife happened to work for the census in 2010. She got asked to work again in 2020 and initially signed up, but didn't do anything with them. In 2010, they were sending out canvassers, enumerators to the same address multiple times. So she would go, she would get a list, like, these are the places you need to visit, knock on the door, ask how many people live there. And she would go, and almost every one said, you're the second, third, fourth, fifth person from the census who's come to this house and asked me the same question, you know? And this one, nobody went out, you know, and prior to the census, my mom, she's retired, she was doing some of the census work for me, she's a retired federal employee. And, you know, they were having her drive around in these census blocks and count houses. And, you know, she's telling me what she's doing, I'm like, that's incredibly inefficient because with GIS technology and with, you know, Facebook, Experian, you know, all of this information is available already. Like, you don't need to go out and recount everything. Like, you know, they can tell you where all the houses are. Just go to any county equalization department. They can give you that information if they know how to do it.
Well, that's the confusing thing about this. How can you miss it?
Yeah.
Except we can't now. Yeah. They want to redistrict all the time too. All right, excuse me.
Moving on, as of this morning, the first permit application has been submitted to Eagle for dredging. That is for Birch Park, which is the one across from the LAPOA office. Between that and the testing, the Lake Restoration Committee has got about $33,560 left of our ARPA money that we sent to them, so they still have a healthy, you know, because the soil test was like 5,600, I want to say, and this was 510, this permit application. So there's a 30-day comment period for all adjacent owners that get notified in the bay. And I suggested to George is, you know, maybe we should take that list and send them something ourselves ahead of time, saying, hey, you know, this is what we're doing. If you have questions, come talk to us. But things are progressing along there. He's working on the second application, which is PAR, which is the intersection of Clubhouse and Birdie. Things are moving along there quite well. Need to know from you fine folks when you would like Prestige Roslyn to come present our audit, and if you would like them to join in person or via Zoom.
We always get to talk to them, that they're here sometime anyhow.
Yeah, we did that all virtually the last 2 years, so they.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Yeah, I'm fine with using the Zoom as well.
Yep.
In that case, I can, whatever meeting, we're doing it over Zoom.
Yeah.
Dealer's choice, they can come when they want.
That's easier for them too.
I think so. We had a call last week inquiring if people can keep honeybees at the property. And I looked through all of our stuff and we have nothing that says that they cannot. Talked to a couple people from the dais and said, yeah, we really don't have a problem with that at all. It's self-sustainability, local food source. And that brought me up to ask the question about chickens. We last plucked around in the chicken coop in 2011. Included the draft ordinance that we had gotten to at that point in 2011. We had one council member at the time who was very opposed to the idea, who's no longer on the dais, residing in the great state of Texas. But believe it or not, we actually had a call today, or in an email that I forwarded to everybody that uses email, from a resident who read the packet online and said, hey, I really think we should allow chickens. So, if you would like to see that on the agenda, I'm happy to put it on the agenda.
What's your thoughts on the bees?
As someone who's allergic to bees, I have a natural
Yeah,
disposition
me
not
too.
to like them, but
Well, that was my thought too. We get a neighbor kid that's allergic to bees.
Yeah.
Kids are inquisitive. They're gonna get too close. Well, if they're gonna have a beehive and we go to approving it, maybe it should be within a fenced area or something, so kids can't get near
my in-laws have them. They're not an issue.
The only bad thing about that is the bees are going outside the fence.
it. Well, I understand,
No,
but the
no.
kid doesn't go to the hive.
No, but
Yeah.
look at all the yellow jackets that are out there this year.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen more yellow jackets this year than I ever have, so they could get stung just as easy by a yellow
I
jacket.
understand that.
I mean,
Unless it's my kid that gets stung. He's allergic. You know.
I'm not opposed to bees or chickens, provided they're not roosters. I mean, roosters, I think are hard, but I know we have people that have chickens in the village right now, and nobody's complained about them. They're not a problem.
So,
Based on what, the write-up you did about it. The only issue I had there was, limiting it to 4, I don't think that's realistic.
No, I agree.
I would think at least 6 or 8 anyway.
it's hard to get
8 at
eggs
least.
that are appropriate, a number with that.
So you're inviting people to keep our code guy busy because nobody's gonna have 4 chickens.
Correct.
They're gonna want more. My only concern with this, I don't want them to have so many that they're running in the road and everything.
That's dinner.
I would definitely,
So free dinner.
There you go.
I
Gotta drive by at the right time. You're all set.
would definitely support the use of chickens, but I would like to see it limited to 8 or 10 even, but certainly no more
Bees
than
to 8
10.
or 10 then.
We should,
And we need to find,
And they get up and move also.
the residents
They
we
do,
currently,
whole hives.
Oh, start.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
the residents we currently have that have chickens, keep them out of the roads too. I don't know how, but I never see them in the road.
yeah,
I see absolutely nothing wrong with it at all, except that current, as it's written, or is to be jumping up to at least 8, maybe 10. I don't think I'd wanna go more than that.
the current thing that you have is 20 feet from either side.
I think that was what was
40
recommended in
feet.
11. Yeah, so that was what was recommended in 11, but was never adopted.
Right.
But right now, all of our stuff says you can't have chickens. Right.
A lot of things have changed since then, too. Sustainable food storage is a bigger issue.
Well, the thing back then wasn't even a sustainable food source. That was a FFA project for a kid. That was the big
Well,
deal back
on the
then.
one, but we were looking at right to farm and everything, and found out that didn't apply. It said we've got residents right now that have them, and they have not been a problem. So I would definitely support it with an increase to around 8 chickens anyway, either can.
I don't have a problem either.
But we have to bring it up at the next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something you'd like me to put up on Facebook for feedback from the community?
I would.
It's a slightly less hostile corner of the internet than next door.
Excuse me.
All right,
I'm ambivalent towards all that. It's just like having too many dogs. We're gonna have, you know, we're gonna have to have some
Well, we have to set some numbers, but I
strict
think
numbers
4 is
on
too
this
low.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for the
Because-
numbers. We
Yeah.
need to raise them.
They're hard to count when they run.
Not if you hit them.
Stop the run.
Yeah, I think our normal lots are too small for either one, but that's my opinion. You know, even 20 foot off your property line, you know. Having young kids, that means they wander, you know, if they go play in the beehive or, you know, there's chickens out and about.
Well,
Then you're gonna have more fights.
too, aren't they?
If a chicken walks into my yard, I'm gonna shoot the chicken, and then there's gonna be that neighbor that's mad, and then there's just gonna be a fight over it.
Well, it's something we can discuss.
Then I don't know if you get like other people saying, well, they have chickens, why can't I have horses? You know, or a cow. They have chickens laying eggs, why can't I have a cow? I can
Just
milk
need,
it every
well,
day.
there's the one lady that's a vet. What is it on, not Coldwater? Quick, I think of what road, first road going into town. River.
Hmm.
She had cow in her yard, that little tiny house, and yeah,
Oh,
she's got a cow there for,
Yeah, those 2 big ones.
yeah.
Other one died.
Oh, no, that's Brenda. She's a vet.
Right, she's
Yeah.
a vet, right.
Yeah, 'cause
But
that,
she always
that
has.
I didn't hear that part. So, yeah,
She always has,
yeah.
there.
They're at her parents' now.
but I don't think I really like Earl, I have one next door, but you know, if Earl asked me, I'd say, all right, I'll turn my back.
Oh, yard.
Yeah.
I think putting in something.
We'll put them in there.
Just have a four-legged lawn.
Maybe we can keep geese too.
Yeah. Alright, get some, bagua, duck fat going.
Yeah.
You know, on the bees, we did have them out at the hunt camp. Somebody asked one though, and said, fine. I thought it was gonna be a problem. They never bothered us at all. I walked right by them.
They
They don't
don't-
bother me a bit.
Yeah, I'm really allergic to bees, and my in-laws one doesn't bother, like I go right up by it,
Yeah.
they're not interested in people.
They're not aggressive.
least aggressive bee out there.
Yeah.
I go out in my shorts and a t-shirt and I don't put my veil and bee suit on anymore. Just shorts and a t-shirt and I pull the honey frames and everything else.
You're telling us you have a huge bee thing?
I do.
I'm gonna have to report you to.
To the council.
Long as
Or
the
you could
bear-
share
long as the bear
honeycomb, that'd be
doesn't
good
come
too.
through.
Yeah, how come we have to have a pride, you know?
So what's the plan?
We're gonna discuss it on the next one, right?
Sure.
He's gonna put it down
Okay.
with those rules that you were talking about, Bob,
And
or those.
put something on the internet.
Discuss it.
Get some
Yes.
response to people's opinion.
I'll listen to what he's Florida.
I'd like to see what the public says
Yeah.
on that.
I bet it'd be 50-50.
I bet it'll be
Well, it's
80-20
not being
favor.
out there,
You
but-
think so,
I
really?
think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be strongly in.
Haven't thought-
It's gotten to be a thing since California started doing it.
Yeah.
I think coming out of the pandemic, people are definitely more interested in having the ability to have full control over their food source.
Yeah, I
I
do
agree.
agree with that.
Yeah. We're still working on the last few items for the RRC program. I'll be at the MML Annual Convention in Traverse City next week, and my wife and children are not joining me, so I'll have ample free time to work on that in my hotel room and not have to entertain. I leave Tuesday, we'll be back. I'm not gonna be back the rest of the week, cause
Hey, damn, the only thing I have is you ought to get a life. Just enjoy life out there instead of always working.
I'm
We
getting
need
rid
to take some.
cleaning stuff off the to-do list is relaxing.
You work too hard.
Second to last, you fine folks need to do a performance review of me before the end of the year, and I would encourage you to do that sooner rather than later, because people start growing wings and flying south in the near future.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I did it.
Yeah, you
Last
can
two
do it.
times.
Yeah,
I can do it. All right, I'll do it.
you can do it.
You do it so well.
Thank you.
And then last but not least, trick or treating is Halloween night, 5 to 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Don't tell my kids I use one of their pictures.
Okay, okay.
Okay, anything else for the Mr. Manager? Okay. Anything from Sherman Township, Jeff?
We haven't had our meeting yet this month, but we did have a work session, specifically on cemeteries. Had a good, long discussion on that, but it's gonna be a lot of work coming up to do that stuff, so we'll be having more work sessions to deal with a lot of it. That's it.
Okay. Lipola, anything?
Just that George submitted the report
Yeah.
for the application today.
And did he take that suggestion, or have you suggested to him that he contact those people?
Yeah, he thought it was a good idea,
Yeah.
so with him and I, we'll get together and figure something out.
Okay.
I'll probably actually email the lake committee and, you know,
Okay. Sounds
have it
good.
officially sanctioned.
You're sanctioned. That's more than one meeting. All right. No public hearings, public comment.
I just wanna say real quick, I know I'm in the minority here, but I mentioned it last month, and I know it's coming up here in new business, but I'm still not sold on wanting to have a street light at Queensway and El Camino Grande. Been here for 27 years. I don't see the need for more and more lighting all the time, but we do have our neighbors who live right there here, so they're gonna have a different opinion too. I'm just getting my say in, so I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority, but I just wanted to reemphasize I'd rather not see the light there, but knowing I'm in the minority, I would assume it's gonna go through, so that's it.
Okay, any other public comment?
To that?
No, you can if you
Public
like.
comment, anything you want, so
Oh,
this would be the
Just
best time.
name and address for the
This is
record.
my husband who I dragged down here. Oh, 1002 El Camino,
Okay, and you are
Penny
any
and
Dale.
Dale?
Merlin. And I am the asker for the light.
Okay,
And I don't know if this is the time to talk now or.
Yeah, you
wait
can.
till-
public comment. You can say what you want.
Well, it would be nice. I don't know what y'all think about it. It's dark out there. I enjoy the stars too a lot. I understand. Tell me your
Jeff.
name. Jeff,
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from, but you know what? I'm a little frightened to be out there alone looking at the stars. It's so dark with, the house across the street. It just sold, and then the one over there,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Both of
everybody.
those houses had lights all night long,
Mhm.
and now nobody does. So that whole corner is pretty dark.
And we're older.
Mhm.
There's a lot of older people in the area. Times are getting more dangerous. Maybe don't think that way, but you look at the news, you look at what's going on out there, we're okay here. I don't know what happens with parties and stuff that's going on down Queensway when the sirens are going down there all the time.
Mhm.
But we've got and I'm an exaggerator, okay? We have a racetrack on El Camino in Queensway.
I agree with that.
We had somebody drive into somebody's house. So what does that have to do with lights?
Good question.
You're supposed to advocate. How long have you been married?
Yes, maybe he should go to the table behind.
Goodness. Dale, you know what it.
Glad it's on tape.
We can make money on that,
Well, anyway, I don't want to be I don't wanna do something that is going to really ruffle your feathers and make your life.
And when I was on council, I didn't want the lights in here in the first place, so I'm sticking with that.
How many are there? I mean, in the whole village,
13.
how many?
13.
13.
13,
Yeah.
and they're mainly by like
Main intersections, so
the intersections.
mostly, yeah.
Major and major streets, which is what El Camino and Queensway are.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying, I'm pretty sure I'm a losing pedestrian.
Other than
I'm sorry, ma'am.
you would-
Ma'am,
Oh, I'm
could
sorry.
could you address us, please?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is the first time I've done this.
Okay.
So, where was I? So,
You want the light,
You know,
yeah, we're at a major intersection.
Right.
It's, I don't want the light coming into our living room or our dining room. Of the north end of our house is, you know, we have no windows looking out on Queensway. We've got electric boxes out there. We have unsightly things behind our house. If you wanna, you know, we don't have the house and garden home, but there's a nasty electric box back there. So why not just put some light, the deer crossing, poor deer are getting decimated by the racetrack people.
Yeah.
Everybody hates deer because there's so many. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if I'm making any kind of argument for it.
Yeah.
Um,
you've given us things to think about.
so,
Okay.
okay. He always tells me I'm talking too much, so anyway, I would like it. I don't know what it's gonna be like. Does anybody have experience with streetlights right by their house?
The newer ones that are flat and shine straight down pretty much.
Yeah.
That'd be ideal, I think.
I don't know, choice on that.
Yeah.
Or they don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
My concern is based on your reasoning. To my knowledge, there has not been a problem there on that intersection. And based on your reasoning, that would pretty well justify a street light on every corner in the village, which I would not even start to advocate. So
No, I wouldn't either.
I can sympathize with what you're saying, I just don't agree with the need for a street light. But I
Okay.
do understand what you're saying here.
So it is what it is, and you
Understand?
know,
Okay, well, thank you. All right, existing business. Village compensation.
Raises all around.
Oh, right. Yes.
We better go before I get in trouble. Too late.
Mr. Mann.
President.
Yeah.
This was on the July meeting agenda, was talked about then. You guys wanted to sit on it for a few months. Clerk, treasurer, president, make a whopping $25 a meeting. The other members make 15. Looked into similar sized communities and
Those
also
are just regular scheduled meetings.
regular schedule,
12 meetings.
if you come.
Yeah,
If we don't have it, if you don't come,
yep.
if it's special. Look at similar communities in terms of size and also the ones that have a manager, because I think that's more appropriate than like Shepherd that doesn't, and their council gets, $150 a meeting or whatever it is, because they're doing more of the work. But the research certainly would support council members, anywhere from, 30 to 50, president, 50 to 75. And in my report, I point out that I would, if a change is made, recommend that the clerk treasurer get the same as the president, just because with the way our charter structures the council, the clerk treasurer and president do the bulk of the extra meetings between the finance committee and the election committee and
Signing checks.
So the other alternative I put in there, signing checks was, or, add a compensation for, finance committee meeting. But as also pointed out in there, the village charter says that any change in compensation will not take effect until all current terms expire. which if everyone on the dais serves out their complete terms, January 2027 would be when any change in compensation would take effect. You all have to get through a whole nother election cycle before it kicks in, so.
That's what we need to change.
And these current prices or payment was set in 2001.
2001 be a resolution, so if a change is made, a new resolution will need to be adopted, rescinding that one and adopting a new schedule.
Right. But I wanted to point out that that was 22 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And it won't take, it'll be more than a quarter century by the time it goes into effect.
Mhm.
So personally, I'm in favor of raising it to at least $75 for the aforementioned 3 people, president, clerk, treasurer, and $50 for the council members. That's about right. And I would say that is more than fair, because that's not even jiggers. That's what I think. But you guys get to decide.
Well, and part of it too is none of us may be on the council in 2027.
Correct.
We need,
We all hope to be alive then.
well, that's a good point, so. But we need some sort of enticement for, perhaps for newer people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, that's the
totally
bigger
agree.
part. I mean, if I'm younger and I have to pay a sitter to come here, I need to get more than $15.
In fact, looking ahead, minimum would be 75. I would go as much as 100 because jeepers creepers is
I
2027, a tank of gas is gonna cost you $100.
Yeah.
See, the one thing I think you're saying, it doesn't count for special meetings, but I think that goes out of the ordinary. I would like to see something paid for special meetings so that it gives them an incentive to attend the meetings.
True.
Okay, maybe not as much as a regular meeting, I
Right.
don't know, but
Right.
I think that, and I will be off the council.
Yeah.
I will be off council, so I'm not voting myself in at all. I mean, as far as pay,
Right.
but I think those special meetings, it's something that you're not planned for, that. Once a month you can have your regular meetings, but I think they ought to be paid for special meetings, myself. And including the finance committee, because the finance committee, you guys have meetings, you're taking time out of your time. I think it was good that we didn't pay that much in the beginning to get ourselves onto it and everything else. But I think now that we're established, and I'm praying that we get some younger people on board, and the younger people, you gotta give them, I don't think that's gonna make a big decision, yes or no, but
Right.
it's still,
But it feels
it's a plus,
like you're being more valued,
yes.
Yes.
and that's really the statement.
Yes.
I think part of that goes into also, letting new members know that, these are MML opportunities that we will also pay for you to go and, and once you get your weekend done, you're eligible then to go to convention at that point in time. And, I've talked to a few other managers that have, talked about issues with, their council only wants to go to convention and nothing else because, it's, especially when it's on the island, which is next year, it's like, here's what we do. You gotta get your EOA done first before you can go. It's like, that's a really good idea. Like, yeah.
We're still 4 years out,
Yeah,
so,
and if we don't do it now,
well, I would even think, 75 and 100 isn't out of the question. Like I say, it's been
Yeah.
over 25 years and we're still 4 years out, so. 75 and 100 isn't out of
That,
it.
No problem.
yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
what about a special meeting? What do you see? Not that amount.
Oh, I don't,
I don't
yeah,
think it needs to be that much.
What about $25 for special meetings?
I'm fine with that.
yeah.
Just something that.
Yeah,
Or even if you just said, cut it right in half, just say, okay, special meetings are ahead, go that route, and that'd be simple, but.
Yeah, then
Keep
that's
track
just
of-
50 around the 50 for all and special,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brent, what do you think?
I was really against it until, you said that about not going into effect till after the next election. You're talking 4 years down the road. It's not like you're voting yourself for a raise. So, that's good. Like Paul said, he's not even gonna be on the council then. So, you know, who else, you know, who knows?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that you guys didn't all applaud. You know?
Did you wanted us to applaud because you're leaving? No, sorry, I didn't want to do it wrong. That was the problem.
But it might be good to take steps, you know, like you said, maybe, you know, you'll have some more people. Cause it was uncontested the last election, or last two maybe.
Yeah.
Everything was uncontested, maybe, you know, there's an actual election, you know?
Yeah. I definitely like to see younger people on this council.
Yeah, I don't think it's a make or break, you know, I'm gonna do it because I'm getting the money, but it lets me have a sitter or pays for my gas or,
Yeah.
you know, I don't go to, if I leave work early to come, you know, it balances those decisions
Yeah.
out for people, I think.
Yes, I think
Bob,
that's
what do you
important.
think?
I think there's people that are probably sitting on the fence. I mean, nobody's getting on board for $15,
Right.
Well, there's 7 of us. We did.
especially younger people.
Yeah.
So take care of that. Now, if we want more interest in getting people on this board and qualified people on this council, you're gonna have to raise it.
Charlie?
Oh, I'm totally in favor of it, sure. I would go to the 150. You know, compensation for
Wow.
it. Not 150, but.
The 100 for the president, clerk, treasurer,
Oh,
and
got it.
50 for the council.
Got it. Thank you.
I thought you were going 150.
I know.
All right, we
It's like-
can do that.
This is like the first option.
Okay, we'll give me 200.
So, what do we think about, this is a good point, Paul, about the special meetings.
Yeah,
What do you think about those?
50% sounds very fair.
yeah.
I like the idea of 50% for the specials.
They're not as long. The prep isn't the same.
No,
You know, but it's taking time out of.
It does,
it's,
yeah, I agree.
It's still your time.
Yeah,
Yep.
I will have a resolution for you next month.
okay,
thank you very much.
thank you. All right, new business. Draft ordinance 2023-04.
The final 2 parts of the recodification are before you tonight for introduction. You know, Article 10 was a complete punt because those are our franchise agreements, so there's nothing we can really change in those because it's an agreement you've entered into with DT or Tri-County or consumers. You know, the Metro Act is not something you can change, you just adopt it by reference, so. You know, Article 10 was just making everything consistent with the numbering and formatting and that kind of stuff. Article 8, has such fun topics as ad valorem taxes, rental, housing, trash licensing. Really only 3 changes of substance, were made in the draft to run through, and I gave you a cheat sheet. The ordinance has its pages on the bottom right. Page 5, this is in chapter 822, which is our refuse collection procedures. Added language to clarify that roll-off dumpsters are not part of the exclusive franchise, and Kings have never treated it that way, we've never treated it that way, but I looked at the wording and said, you know, it doesn't really reflect that reality that we've all been working under. Because like Declare brings in dumpsters, Discount Dumpster, all of those companies service our community. And as long as they're not bringing in a compactor, everyone's fine with it. We had one try and bring in a dumpster to be serviced by a compactor on a home build job. I'm like, you can't bring in a compactor, it's gotta be a roll off. So, not a big change, but.
On page 58. 3B,
What page on the bottom?
well, mine's at the top, 58. Oh, bottom,
Bottom of the order.
bottom, hang on. Page 5.
Okay.
Okay, I believe this has to be changed. 3A, when it looks, it says, no, that's not right, 3B. It says with a capacity of 4 cubic yards.
Mhm.
Okay, now look down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. It says cart with a
No, 2.
capacity of 4, right? Should be 4.
It says here.
I know, but shouldn't it say 4?
Yeah,
Yes.
I read it a number of times. I don't think it's a separate concept. Or is it?
It is.
It
Because
is?
the wheel off cart at the end of your driveway, the blue cart is 2 cubic yard cart. So if you want something bigger than that,
All right. Can you put something that tells that in parentheses? Because to me, it just is confusing.
or I can make that a C.
Yes, I think that'd be better. Because I understand exactly what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Good deal.
All right.
Page 6. Change the hours from 7 to 8 to 6 to 7, because that's, Kings are here oftentimes well before 7, and we've not had any issues in that. And our website tells people to have their trash and stuff out by 6 AM. So,
Okay, I have another question. I'm sorry. Okay, page 7. Did we do that yet?
nope, but you're there.
Okay, so, H. It says it, should, let's see, shall provide a current toll-free
Toll-free number.
telephone number?
Yep.
Do we want that? And then it says, accept phone calls so customers don't have to do long distance calls. That's kind of, you want that in there? It's kind of obsolete, isn't it? Everybody calls, everybody.
We put it in at the onset of this because we wanted residents to not have to pay you to call to get trashed out.
Got it, okay.
Most people, cell phones, you know.
Right,
but,
right, okay.
You know, there are still some landlines
All
out
right,
there.
okay,
you know.
all right, that makes sense then, okay.
And I thought about getting rid of that, but Kings doesn't mind because Kings uses it for all their customers.
Okay.
It's their toll-free number.
All right, thank you.
We covered 6.
I don't think this comes in any place here. I think it comes more into King's contract with our people.
Yeah.
Of having, everybody have to have it, really. Of one size or another. Because they do have small ones now. And the concern I've heard from certain areas in our community is that we have nature ripping bags open. And the biggest culprits are the crows that rip them open, it's not the coons and stuff.
Skunks.
And the skunks might do it too. And I know I was talking with Lyle the other day about it. He said they just got a load in of the smaller ones. That might be the possibility for that because the cost wouldn't be so high for some people that are baggers.
I'd like to see that, you know, because bags coming out, I see a lot of times when I drive around, ripped open and stuff like that. And, we had one neighbor, he comes up on weekends, and it seemed like for
Leave it up.
2 months straight, bags were ripped up and torn apart. And I'll be honest with you, Earl went over there and cleaned everything up.
The other thing is gonna be, sooner or later, it's not gonna be a guy walking back there and hooking it on and dumping it. It's gonna be an arm come out,
Mhm.
and then it's gonna have to be a dumpster.
But
They do
what
have
How's that
they have
gonna,
one of those
how they gonna do that, the ticket thing then? With the bag, it wouldn't be.
Are they gonna do what?
When
When
they
you
add the
just, you buy a
tags.
bunch of tags,
the bags, yeah.
cause you can solve that problem if you put out your garbage at 7 o'clock in the morning. The day of, you can, that's what I do, never had any trouble.
Oh, I've seen them, I've gone on my bike ride and see them,
Yeah,
people walk out and here comes Mr. Crow. Crows are something else, they know what time you put them out.
and it's smart.
Yes,
Well, wouldn't that have to be when we do the next contract with them?
I think
Yeah.
that's where it's gotta come.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it's really gotta be.
Okay.
Well, you'd also need to change your ordinance.
Then we'd have to change
Right.
that too.
yeah,
You know, I would recommend probably doing that in conjunction because a change like that is something I think you're gonna wanna get feedback out from the community.
Yeah.
Because we structured the required services they have to provide based on,
That's
you
what
know,
they bid
not,
on.
people not being here on Mondays to take their carts back to their home because they've already left for Dearborn or wherever, and that's where they live. So that's why we didn't mandate the cart. And we also had, you know, a fair number of people that rightfully said, look, I only use 1 bag a week, 2 bags a week. Like, you gotta give me the tag option because, you know, I can't afford, $170 a year for the cart, I can afford $1.50 every week. And on our website, we've got, a 96-gallon cart with 3 bag, 6 bag, 10 bag, those are levels they provided. Those range from 153 to 194 a year. And those have not changed. They have not raised that price at all.
But he's got a new smaller one coming out.
Yep.
What would fit, like 2 bags,
Oh,
the
bag.
small one, the new one,
oh, I bet you can get 3 in.
3.
Yeah, it's like the ones,
Yeah.
we got people that put their own thing out there with them, yeah. He said you can get 2 or 3.
Okay, yeah, I like the idea of carts myself.
Yeah, I understand.
There are places that still have the trash man take the cart back to the garage for them
Oh,
and pick it up from the garage.
If you forget that Lyle will go get it, because he's
Yes,
done
he
it at
does.
my house.
yes, he did it, my neighbors too.
And he delivers it with a doggy bone for a root.
I had him call me and say, hey, you forgot your new garbage. Oh, I didn't, we're not home.
I just sent him a message on Facebook. I'm not gonna be home.
Yeah.
Can you wheel back up for him? The last really change of substance in this document is on page 13. It's in the rental inspections. We don't do the inspections anymore unless it's requested. We got rid of the licensing. There's long reasons for that. We have a thing in our ordinance that has an occupancy threshold based on your size of your rooms and that kind of stuff. Without doing inspections, there's, but we did have a situation this last summer where, people moved in and didn't have power and started running a generator. And so I think that would be a wise substitute to make it clear that you gotta have functioning utilities. Or it can go after the landlord.
Right.
And that's really it. It was,
What I seen in the standards and inspections there, if you look, number 1, it says a bathroom. And you gotta have running water and such. As I read down through there, I don't see anywhere where it says, disposal of that. Septic tank hooked up for.
but and that's what 11, all rental dwellings shall maintain in working condition
Yeah, that's it.
electrical, well water, or sewer and septic. Dwelling not serviced by working electrical, well, water, sewer, or septic shall not be occupied and such utilities are stored. That was the addition. Because you're right, there was nothing in there about it before.
Yeah.
And in this instance here, they were on the county water system, so I couldn't go after them for not having water. Because they have water from the county water system. It's a pressurized system. They just didn't have power.
But they did have the sewage hooked up then.
Yeah, the septic works fine.
Normally, we don't need power for that.
Yeah.
You got an elevated.
Exactly.
So.
Boy, do I have a septic story for you guys later about our DPW building.
Okay, so, this is the official introduction of this draft ordinance, then, right?
If you guys are kosher with it.
Everybody on board with that? Okay,
Thank you for doing it, Tim.
yeah,
Who wants the formal designation?
Carol does.
All right, thanks, Carol.
Very nice. Amazing what you do.
I think I'm gonna be absent that day.
The evidence is say they'd be introduced by a council member.
Excuse me, fine.
Okay,
I got some right here. Thank you very much.
2023-17 capital asset policy.
So the first of 3 resolutions on your docket tonight, updating some policies that we have in place. Started to review the capital assets policy this year as part of our audit. Each year, part of our audit, we have to provide a spreadsheet of our capital assets and depreciation, because that's part of GASB 34 accounting. And started to look at our policy and realize it really doesn't reflect our operations in a succinct way. It doesn't really give us a lot of guidance in terms of how we depreciate. It's kind of like pick a number. So I worked on that, refined that, made a much more concise list of these are the things that trigger capitalization. Increase the threshold from 2,500 to 3,000 or 5,000. Every place I looked recommended 5 as your minimum, because you get into too many small tedious things below that. But then I also elaborated in the policy and added the requirement to develop a capital assets management plan. And part of that is based around a management theory here that you need to look at the combination of the probability of failure and the consequence of failure to determine the priority and where you look at your capital assets in terms of needing to replace something or repair. So, you know, you have essentially an acceptable level of risk that you're going to be willing to take. You know, if it's a almost certain failure, but it's a moderate consequence, that's a risk you can probably live with. But if it's a likely and it's a severe, it's probably something you want to figure out ways to mitigate. You know, so you have opportunities for efficiency on the low end, and then you need to work on contingency planning and risk reduction and prevention up in the top corner. And that is reflected in the policy with, you know, the policy goals and objectives I put in there, puts obligations on the council and the manager in terms of how we, you know, account for and plan for our capital assets, and it requires that we integrate that, which we already do to a large degree in our master plan, capital improvement plan, and annual budget process.
Discussion. Questions?
Make a motion to accept resolution 2023-17.
Motion made by Laraway to accept resolution 2023-17 capital asset policy update. Is there a second?
I'll say.
Seconded by CUNY. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Charlie Keel,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Fred Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes, Paul Cuny,
Yes,
Al Davis,
Yes.
Dave Torgerson.
Yes. Motion carries unanimous. Resolution 2023-18 credit card policy update.
Yeah, so as I talked about last month, Staples no longer offers their more advantage or advantage more card, whatever it's called. And said, you know, I'm gonna look at replacing that with an Amazon card. So I went and did that, filled out the form online. Filled in my personal information on the second page, because that's what you have to do as the authorized representative of the entity. Got an email, need to call and confirm some things. Called and confirmed it, they're like, okay, we'll have a decision in about 30 seconds. Yep, you're approved for $18,000.
No dog and pony show.
No dog and pony show. I will point out that Isabella Bank took 5 weeks to increase our last credit card from $7,500 to $12,500.
And they carry
We've been that for 30 years.
Okay.
So that creates a slight hiccup, and I asked, well, can we knock that down to 15? Like, no, you have to have your card to do that because you need the 3-digit code on the back before you can change a credit limit. Our policy sets a cap of $15,000 on any particular card. I would request that we bump that to 18 due to that issue, not changing the overall number, just tweaking that part of the policy to deal with apparently our exceptionally good credit.
based
Well, you
on-
wouldn't know it from Isabella Bank.
No, I don't.
based on that, I'm not concerned under the current management,
Yeah.
okay? But I do kind of have a little bit scary if we brought somebody new in, you know, if Tim left us for some reason. I don't know why he'd leave us, but,
Well, you're not gonna be on the council in 4 years.
Oh, good point. If you don't leave.
oh, so you're gonna leave when I leave?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You guys won't even have to give him a raise that year.
That's right.
But no, I am a little concerned about having a high end on Amazon of all of them, but I'm not against it. I just voice my opinion that I'm concerned if there was a different management in there in place. That's all. I'm not against it. before it.
It probably could be changed. Now, once we get the card come through,
Change it to VIN.
once we have the 3-digit PIN number, you can change it.
It says right here that his social security number is
Yeah.
tied to the
And that's
card.
it. His-
So we just,
Yeah.
if he racked up the credit card, we just won't pay the bills and we'll get his credit.
Oh, it's
What are
not,
they gonna do to
it's
us?
not on the village?
It's on the village, but
It also
you have
has
to
his
have an
social.
authorized representative from
Yes.
the entity.
Mhm.
So it's either myself, Charlie, or Dave, then you need to pony up an SSN on the application, and I wasn't calling them to do it, so.
I would have called Charlie.
That's been a bad, if I wouldn't have got it.
I wasn't gonna say it, Charlie. but-
Ah,
I know what mine looked like from Florida.
Mhm.
Oh, gosh, okay. Mhm.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of points on buying cabinets and floors and.
Okay, so this resolution is to change that from 15 to 18.
I think
But
20.
that doesn't obviate you being able to change it once you get the PIN number,
No,
but. I
We're
don't
not
know.
asking you to change him to.
It's the future.
Right.
You know,
Like I said, I
Yeah.
just voiced my opinion on
Right.
that. I'm not saying I'm against it or for it. It's just,
and
it's a concern.
you do have, property and liability insurance against fraud too, as part of our liability coverage.
He left, we'd have to get a new card authorization.
Exactly, if I leave, it's like, this has got my social security number attached to it.
no, we'll use it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Rack it up. Then don't pay the
Join
bill.
the board of conference.
We do need a new vote, don't we?
Yeah.
All right, so. Do we have support for resolution 2023-18?
I make a motion to accept 2318.
Motion made by Keel to accept resolution 2023-18 credit card policy, seconded by Peavy. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Paul Cuny,
Yes.
Al Davis,
Yes.
Charlie Keel,
Yes.
Dave Ferguson.
Yes, motion carries unanimous. Resolution 2023-19 fee schedule update.
Last of the resolutions, last time we looked at our fee schedule was 2019. More than anything else, I believe an adjustment needs to be made to reflect the rising cost it is to publish things in the Morning Sun. Postage has went up, that is a factor. But we are somewhat unique in that we require hearings for every ordinance at the council level. That's in our village charter. So state law, the zoning enabling act requires that you do a public hearing at the planning commission level on all zoning ordinances, whether it's a text amendment or a map amendment. If it's a map amendment or an approval like a special land use that requires notification, you gotta mail to all owners and occupants within 300 feet. Variance, same deal. For the council, when you hold that public hearing, the zoning enabling act says, if a hearing is held on a zoning related ordinance, you must follow the procedures in the act. So you gotta do the mailing again, you gotta do the publication again. And then if it's an ordinance, you also gotta publish that you adopted it in the paper. So there's 3 publications for that level. So, ballpark wise, I think basically you're gonna be around $300 for one that only requires one approval or hearing. You're gonna be at $600, just breaking even cost wise, quite frankly, at this point in time, because, you know, the last notice we got, we're right around 200. But we've also, done some other changes in our ordinance that, like site plans used to require a public hearing. We don't require that anymore. We used to have certain special land uses that required hearings between the planning commission and the council. We got rid of all the council ones, just planning commission. So we have streamlined that process some. And the change that I would also make is right now we handle decks as a regular zoning permit, comes in at $30. I say we drop that down to our kind of minor permit category, which are signs, shed, pools, fences. All those we charge a whopping $10 for. And it's a 1-page application. We've tried to simplify it as much as we can. The trade-off, I would increase the regular permit from 30 to 40. And I included a fee structure from everybody around us that's very much in line and very competitive as far as that fee goes. But those are the projects where we're going out and doing the site visit and we're doing the detailed review of, do you have the design elements and do you have the link to width, you know, those do actually take more time to do. Reducing home base and family daycares from 50 to 40, shave that down. But in general, I don't think any of these are drastic. I think as you can see from what everybody else around us charges, it's very reasonable. It's in line with people who are not losing money in the process, because some frankly are, you know. If you look at like the county, they're charging what, $175 for, you know, a special meeting. So if you're doing a publication and a hearing, like in a mailing, like I know how much this stuff costs. Like you don't get a cheaper rate.
We're not making money on this.
Absolutely not.
No.
We're just trying to break even.
Break even.
Right.
Break even.
And I think this is a more accurate reflection of where costs are and are not in the zoning process.
Okay, discussion.
I had a fence put up on our other property and the permit cost $189. Yeah. They came out and told us we'd cut down some trees that were not natural trees, and so they didn't care where the fence went. Nice.
And Al, I'd love your feedback. You deal with this more than I do in terms of other jurisdictions.
You know, it sounds, yeah, that sounds good to me. I mean, like I say, it's less than everybody else's.
Yeah, still less than everybody else.
Right.
So, you know, it's all fair. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with all of it.
Okay,
I make
Looks fair to me.
a recommendation that we approve resolution 2023-20 as is,
motion
as
with
recommended.
Cooney to accept resolution 2023-19 fee schedule update. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Laraway. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Paul Cuny,
Yes,
Al Davis,
Yes,
Laraway.
Yes.
Charlie Keel,
Yes.
Dave Jorgensen.
Yes, motion carries. Unanimous. Street light quote.
Our friends at Homeworks Tri-County have provided a quote to install a new overhead streetlight at the corner of El Camino Grande and Queensway. Install 40-foot class 4 pole and secondary riser, costs a whopping $805. Install 30 feet of number 6 duplex wire, $123. LED streetlight fixture, $205. Streetlight arm, $204. And estimated cost per month to run this bad boy is $12.20. They give you a credit off that install price for your first 3 years. So the actual amount to do the installation, $897 and $12.20 a month to operate it. Covers everything other than vandalism. So if someone comes out and shoots it with a BB gun, we gotta pay for that. But if it burns out, if it gets lightning, if a car hits it, those are all covered by them. Up on the screen is the location of where they are proposing to put it, which would be right here. We'll come out over the intersection this way. In terms of that intersection, we are on stop sign number 4 for people driving through and taking out the stop sign. And I have pulled out, by my own count, 3 people out of the ditch in the winter with the plow truck who slid right on through or drifted off on the shoulder.
are they putting
Were those all at night?
I would say 50-50. The sliding into the pole, a lot of those were early in the morning, still slippery out, people driving too fast, go to make that curve and it,
It's my understanding they're going on the green right underneath the G. Is that bluish green? Or
yeah, so they would come in under right here from this box
under the road
or under, and then underground right here where there's a pole.
to there, so then it's out of the lane that's sliding in.
Correct, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
only makes
Not-
sense.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're not gonna come through and get it.
Well.
Because whose fault is that? Ours or
Never-
theirs?
never-
I mean,
Jeez, Al.
People going in the ditch in that winter, I mean, that's not because of the light.
Oh, Don.
Putting a light up there is not gonna make them better drivers.
I can see Charlie going around that corner pretty fast to go over to the LIPUA office, you know, before he leaves for Florida, he could.
I gotta go over and dump my trailer
Yeah.
for Memorial.
Well, there you
I
go.
gotta get there, man.
You know, you gotta get around
Full
that
load.
corner. So. But I like the location right there, and like you say, you know, that lane is open for, you know, the slide ins
Okay,
and plus snow removal and everything else right there. So.
what's your pleasure, gentlemen and lady?
There's room for a Kool-Aid stand on the corner.
Yeah.
Against the light there.
Okay, Bob?
I'm against those putting it right there.
Okay.
I guess I haven't been around there in the dark lately, but, my thought is anytime you light up an intersection. it's
Oh,
better
not
than safety.
only that, look at the president you're setting. Anybody, well, hey, I got a street corner out here, I want a light.
Sure.
I don't see the need for a light. Convenient maybe, but do we need one? No.
You said they're major streets.
correct, so we have an adopted policy that I included last month for you guys to review that said we will put street lights only at intersections of major and major.
Right.
We did that after we did all the other ones down Queensway, which are all major and local, with the exception of DeQuesta and Bundy. Those are both major, but like, we don't have a light at your street.
LIPUA does, but
We put that one in
Yeah.
over that, but, so yeah, going down Queensway, we have lights at El Camino, Bundy, and DeQuesta, and also one from the LIPUA office at Winnie Payne. So this is the only major and major intersection that we don't. The other major and major intersections in the village where we don't have a light, Clubhouse and Birdie. Probably School and Bonanza. That would be the other ones. It's back by the.
Isn't there one there?
No, it's gravel.
Oh, it's back.
We have lights all
Yeah,
Clubhouse, cold
yeah,
water, you
yeah.
know, so we got Fairway,
I was
Seabury,
thinking it's closer to the cold
Bonanza.
water. Yeah.
Yeah, we did all of this year. Free. We've got 3,500 cars a day,
Because it says major to major, or major to major.
major to major.
Major. I don't
Okay.
have a problem with it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it because I don't see it being, okay, if we do a light there because someone requested it, then I'm gonna call and I want a light at my house too, but I don't live at a major. So I don't qualify.
Charlie, what do you think?
Oh, I can agree that it is a major, and so maybe just precaution, I agree, put it there, it's probably the best thing to do. And they're safe, they shine down, they don't shine up. We do have a number, I know by signing checks,
Yeah.
we don't spend a lot of money with our lighting bill. One place takes more than the others, but won't bring that topic up tonight.
Right?
Would there be a way to send a notice to like some of the other owners around there to see, you know, what their thoughts are? Cause I mean, once we put it up, you know, it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, if I was living around there, like, right, I don't care. I think it probably would be, you know, a touch safer lit up, but I wouldn't want it next to my house either, I don't think.
There's only 2 houses at that intersection.
Yeah. And the other one's inside the village.
That's not in the village, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, the green one is not, right?
No,
Cross Street, that's not the
across
village.
the street.
Show me which one.
the one where the
Great.
light pole's gonna be in the front yard.
Oh, yeah.
They're not the village.
Oh, well, surprise.
Hmm.
Okay.
So like you say, one plus with that is it shines straight down.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
gonna shine. You know, they're gonna have a pole there.
it still lights up. It lights up around it.
The concern I have with asking people is I don't want people, three people to decide. If we're saying it's a major, if that's the reason, then I say, I'll back it. But to start asking people, do you want it or don't you want it? That's not the reason we're putting it up. We're putting it up like,
It's a major.
right, it's a major.
I have never seen a problem there related to darkness.
Right.
And I go through it quite often when it's darkness. I just don't see putting up a light for convenience, even if it is only what, $800, $900. $900, still $900, and I
Yeah.
just don't see an advantage to it.
I don't know if we're just lucky. No one's been hit on Queensway, because we know they speed there. We know that there's pedestrians
40 mile an
walking
hour
there.
speed limit.
Well, but
People
I'm
are
just
going
saying,
50.
in light of that, I'd have to come down on the part of safety. I think it's a safer thing. I understand what you're saying too. Bob, but I think we've just been dodging bullets for a long time, and I mean, we're getting more populated. I don't care what the census said, we got 2,000 people here.
We do.
And there's kids on bikes and all that other stuff, and they're dumb, and they go up there, they're kids, and they drive up in dark.
I
They
don't want-
walk in the
I don't
dark.
want to put another pole out there for them to hit.
Yeah,
Darn.
so, I think it's a major, and I think I'd err on the side of safety. So I'd be in favor of it, but it's everybody's choice, so.
I'll speak up and say the streetlight quote, that we move forward with it. And because it's a major, not because who requested it or anything else, but because it's a major.
Okay.
I second that, if you're making the motion.
I make a
Are we
motion.
doing that right
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
So Paul moved that we accept the bid for the streetlight
Okay, cool.
at the corner of El Camino and Queensway, or at the intersection.
Yeah.
And seconded by, who seconded it?
Yeah.
Davis.
Got it.
Any further discussion? Okay, we're spending money, so we gotta have a roll call.
Okay, Carol Shannon, yes. Paul Cuny,
Yes,
Al Davis,
Yes,
Charlie Keel,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
No.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Dave Ferguson.
Yes. Motion carries 6-1.
I mean, it is probably the safe thing. I was more like, not if they want it, but if like somebody around there really opposed it, hated it,
Yeah,
like they didn't want it.
there aren't a lot of houses right
They can
there
at least
either.
maybe come and say, I hate this thing. I don't want a light right here, and give us some more reasons. That's all I was getting.
I think by and large, you're gonna hear people that say, great, it's about time we want more streetlights, because we do hear that a lot from people, like, hey, how come you don't have more streetlights? And I said, well, here's why, and here's our policy. If you wanna come change it, come talk to the council. Yeah, I don't care that much. Deleted. But I'd like you there for walking.
Okay. Public comment, second time, you get a chance. Yes,
It's a great safe thing.
that's good.
I was
Thank you.
thinking.
Thank you.
anybody else? Okay. Council comments,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be before you.
Tim, you're gonna be gone when the lake committee meets,
No,
you said the 19th,
Yeah, but
And
that's a
our-
Thursday.
but our lake committee. Oh, is it
That's
the
a
18th?
Thursday.
We moved it to the
18th?
24th, I believe.
24th.
We moved it to the 24th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 24th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right, I'm confused, I got it wrong in my
No,
calendar.
because I said, remember I said for Wednesday, I can't make it, and then we set it for, we set it for a different date, I'm like, oh, I can't make that
Can't make that
day.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now. Okay, any other council comments?
So when is it?
Charlie?
Just, goodbye.
Oh, do we get hugs?
It's up to you.
No, thank
You
you.
got a call?
No, thank you.
You
All right.
hug him twice.
All right. Announcements?
You have next Lake Committee meeting, the 24th, I believe. Trick or treating, as already mentioned, Halloween night, 5 to 7. In the month of November, the Planning Commission meets on the 14th and the council meets on the 21st.
Oh yeah, don't forget that.
Okay,
That's
I
good.
won't.
Inside joke. All right, meeting's adjourned.